Ah, an artist that once felt really fresh and unique to the world of current music, having a massive influence on so many different artists, later down the line, becoming a shadow of their former self. It's a tale as old as time, guys. It's a tale as old as time. Yes, you will be no stranger to finding out the very mixed and mostly negative response to this new Tame Impala album, which has been met with not quite the reviews he got with all of his other albums. And it's sad to see, but coming into this album myself, I didn't have high hopes. I was feeling like the source might be gone with this guy because this music was not sounding too good. The singles were not impressive. The identity wasn't really there. The excitement wasn't really there. They just didn't really move me at all. And coming from somebody that does actually like Tame Impala, and actually, based on my previous review that was on this channel, I've grown to like the Slow Rush. I actually thought that album was pretty good and ended up being a bit underrated, actually. Yeah, I would consider myself a sort of somewhat fan. I've never absolutely loved any of his albums. I've always thought they were at least pretty good and had some amazing killer songs on every single one of them. But now we're here, and I gotta say, man, I'm kind of with a lot of the critiques. This is pretty bland sounding. Tame Impala Going Dance has been like the kind of tagline of this album. And that concept is not a bad idea at all. Like, his music has always really had an element where you feel like it could just let itself go and it could let loose and spring out into some really fun, high energy, funky, danceable music. Like, really, since Currents, there's been that vibe kind of brewing and brimming. And the Slow Rush, I mean, yeah, goddamn, there were so many fun, high energy, danceable tracks on that thing, man. Is it true? Did you guys hear that one? That was so fun and exciting. One of my favorite Tame Impala songs. And yet, him kind of taking that leap and just going way more for it has ended up weirdly not really working. It's kind of strange. It's like not lining up and achieving great music. It's almost like, and like The Weeknd was like flirting with just straight up pop music, but he still kind of had that R&B edge. You kind of wouldn't want to let it go. And then he took that leap and just went straight for it and hit us with, like, banger after banger. It would be like that, but those songs not sounding good. That's like this album. It's weird. My Old Ways really sums up the entire thing for me, where it's like this demo-ish singing. It honestly sounds like he needed to do a few reruns of the singing on the first bit. And then out of nowhere, this completely limp and just not very good dance beat just kind of takes over. It just completely like jumps into the song and it doesn't even feel like it matches anything. And it's just like forced and just sounds like kind of like dad dance music. I hate saying stuff like that because there's nothing wrong with being a dad and wanting to dance, but like, sometimes dads are just a bit lame, and this all feels like very lame music. Lame Limpala, maybe? Should we call him that? It's very limp and very lame. Lame Limpala, I don't know. Dracula set it up to feel like it was going to be like that. Like, something about that song just doesn't land for me. The lyrics, the whole aura of it just feels really off, and the music is relatively catchy, but something about it just all feels really corny, and something about it just doesn't really feel very sticky and hooky. And I feel like the song is attempting to be a bit like that, and it actually was one of his first ever like charting songs. I think he'd never had a song chart until that, which is kind of crazy considering how big Less I Know the Better is. But yeah, he's always been one of those artists that kind of grew over time and gained exposure as the years pass, and all of a sudden this year he ends up charting, which feels wild to say. And I can see why. There is some elements of a really fun disco-y groovy track there, but it just hasn't got enough of like the elements to make it feel super groovy to me. And Dracula is not only the most offensively written song. Like, that track isn't great with the lyrics, but it gets worse, and I'm impressed to see how bad it really gets. Like, No Reply, where he's talking about like how he's not replying, and it all just feels like so like icky. I don't know, just the whole thing. I'm just not here for it. And then you've got the "You're a Cinephile, I watch Family Guy" line. Everything about it just reeks of like lameness, and maybe there's a hint of self-awareness there. But we learn with the most recent Taylor Swift album that just because there may be some self-awareness or there may be some, satire, it doesn't mean the satire is done well. And this is a great example of that. You've also got "Loser," which feels like it's kind of like half-baked version of like the Beck song. Like the chorus basically riffs on the whole "I'm a loser baby" thing. He just says "babe" instead, and then just the next line is something different. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm not even the biggest fan of Beck, so hearing a worse version of that when I'm already not a huge fan, it's like, what's the point in me listening to this? And well, okay, maybe you can just bypass those tracks and go to the more like properly house focused dancey songs. Ethereal Connection, End of Summer kind of feel like he's trying to shoot for something more like that. And you are appealing to the guy, my friends. Like, if you have kept up with my channel for at least 5 or 6 years, I've become more accustomed and gotten more into house and dance music that gets very, very much ignored by mainstream critics, music publications, even a lot of my fellow companions and my fellow YouTube friends that do music reviews. A lot of them do ignore this style of music, and I am not the ignorer of that. I do like a lot of this type of stuff, right? But these two tracks are dire. They're so dire. I'm just not with it all. Ethereal Connection, man, that whole like MIDI beat that has no meat on it. It feels like a skeleton beat that needed more elements added on. And it goes on for like 2 minutes. It sounds like you just pressed the auto button on those school keyboards when you're in music class because you're just messing around, and it just does like a Like, there's nothing to this song. And it goes on for ages. And then it barely builds, it barely transpires into anything exciting, it barely takes a unique direction, it barely adds to the original beat. I'm just like, no way, I'm not doing it, man. We had that Distract album not that long ago, that is full of fire banging dance tunes. I am more than happy to go back to that and not play this. And End of Summer as well, just something about it just feels off. Like, I can't connect to anything. I feel like this sounds like a Tame Impala song. It feels like, yeah, he would do this. And something just isn't clicking, man. Something's just not clicking. It's just not got any exciting elements, any particular grooves or melodies that really stand out or feel sharp or stick in your head. It's just like not got the right sound. I don't know what it is. It's just a really confusing listen of a song. You've got tracks in the middle of the album that kind of blend together a little bit, I think, Obsolete with that falsetto, which honestly, the classic Kevin Parker falsetto has charm to it. And something about this album just feels like all the sauce is just missing. Because all of the things he would do before, he is kind of bringing into this album in some way, way or another. And yet, there's just like nothing really to it. I kind of felt similarly about Oblivion. Like, not bad songs really, but just really lacking in some major quality that makes me want to kind of go back to it, or doesn't really have any like stickiness. And I think that's really one of his strengths. He can be adventurous, he can take you on a journey with a 7-minute song, but he can also keep you gripped, and he's done that on Currents. He's done that on the Slow Rush. Like, these are things they exist in his catalog, and it just is missing here. I'll take Afterthought. I thought that was pretty good, pretty fun. Had a bit more of a funkiness to it. Does, like I keep mentioning, remind me of a track that would exist on the Slow Rush. Maybe not as exciting, I guess. Maybe not a song I'd be rushing to go back to compared to some of his previous albums, but I think in a pool of tracks that feel pretty, dare I say, tame, don't really, stand out or anything like that. I think this track at least has something, but overall, I've got to say, there isn't a lot of positivity from me here. I'm just very unenthused playing the whole thing. some really like standout, awkward, weak, borderline bad in places moments that I just don't really expect to hear from Tame Impala. It's not offensively bad, and maybe this score will seem harsh because, you know, some of the elements are fine, some of it's okay, but like it just doesn't like stand out or grip me, and some of it really is just awkwardly done, and there's just a lack of excitement I get from any of the tracks. I'm going to go 4.5 out of 10. I was kind of toying with my rating, and I was like, is that too low? Is that unfair? But no, I can't find myself going back to really anything from this. A lot of this genuinely frustrated me, particularly some of those longer tracks, like I mentioned, that try and shoot for something that just fall flat. And then lyrically, it's like really poor. And I don't even go to Tame Impala for lyrics, but goddamn, like it gets pretty bad in places. Like I can't get behind this. I'm going to have to go low. So that's my opinion. That's how I feel. Let me know your thoughts. I've not really seen a great deal of positivity coming this album's way, but there might be somebody in the comments that does find something they like, and let me know. I'd love to hear what you think. Thank you for watching as always. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video, share it around. Check out my Patreon if feeling generous, and membership page, all that good stuff if you want to support me over on there. And yeah, have a good day.